Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? We are back in the house, about to bring this fire to you one more again. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, you talking to the mic. I haven't hit the record button yet.
I'm ready.
All right, hold on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Success in Black and White.
The podcast.
Yeah.
We are back in the house one more again.
We surely are. I am excited.
I am too. I'm very excited about tonight.
I'm excited about tonight, but I'm excited about something else.
What are you excited about?
I'm excited because we are really, really close to releasing our brand new website.
Oh, yes.
And
heck yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh my, you can't wait.
I know. So Darryl has spent probably the past 3 months on this amazing website. I'm so excited. I'm excited because we took our two brands.
Yeah.
Success in Black and White.
That's right.
And the Love It Co. And we had a very distinct purpose as to why they were separate, but we really wanted to just merge everything and have one solid company where we were rocking and rolling people's worlds.
That's right.
So I am super excited. The website looks phenomenal.
It looks good, doesn't it?
I never in my life. Okay, so just back up. Sorry, I know. But backing up to the very first iteration of our website.
Don't talk about that.
To where we had clip art on it.
To where we are now, it was straight garbage, straight trash.
And I don't want to say that because you worked really hard on it.
I did work really hard on it, but I've worked extremely hard on this new one.
Yes. Well, every time, and I want to say this, we're not even into a topic yet. We haven't really introduced tonight yet, but I do want to say this for people who may be entrepreneurs or maybe not even entrepreneurs, but just doing their own thing and going for their goals and going for their dreams.
Right.
Honestly, I don't think you're ever going to get it right on the very first try. And I don't think it's ever going to be perfect no matter what you do, because every version of the website that we've rolled out, even just minor tweaks, Darryl's like, I think I can do this and make it better. And I was like, we just rolled it out 2 days ago. And he's like, I know, but it can be better. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's how you grow.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I worked really hard on it. And it was a little challenging because April and I, we both have the same goal and the same objective and the same mission. But we have a different style to our approaches. Yeah. So I had to find a way to capture April's style and Darryl's style into one. And that was a little challenging, but it also was fun at the same time because I had a chance to kind of explore. Wow, this is going to sound crazy, but I had some time to explore April.
Oh.
Yeah. And her style and some of the things that she liked and didn't like and color schemes.
Yeah.
And, all of those different things. And then on my side, I had a chance to kind of dig a little bit deeper and find out what were some of those things that were, very important, what I needed to add, what were some of those things that I could sacrifice to kind of combine and match up with what April's style was. So that was challenging, but it was also fun at the same time because throughout that process, I learned a lot more about her style, colors that are important to her and colors that she doesn't really like. And then there are some things where I was like, I don't care. And then there were some things that were non-negotiable on my side.
Yeah.
And I think that the iteration of the website that we have right now with a couple of minor tweaks left is going to represent both of us very well. And it looks good.
And I would also say that building a website that represents you both is a test of your relationship.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
It is, but you know what? We passed the test.
We did.
And it is, you guys, I'm so excited for it. So by the time that you're listening to us, we'll probably be about a week-ish out from release.
From releasing, yeah.
And so just look for it. We're going to plug it hardcore on our social media.
Yeah, definitely.
So just watch out for it. We're really excited. We actually are rolling out a few new services that we're offering as well.
Absolutely.
With the release of the website, we just rolled it all into one, and we can't wait wait for you guys to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And one more thing with this website, there were some things that I talked about earlier about her style and my style. I'm a very symmetrical person, and she is a very artistic person. So that was probably the most challenging part, to get my squares and boxes lined up perfectly and right and everything kind of flowing. And she was like, "Oh, I think you need to add a little style to that, add a little flavor, add a little twist." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"You want me to take this box and turn it sideways? It's a box for a reason, so that it lines up." But no, I just definitely had to share it because that was so funny, and it definitely popped into my mind.
It's funny what we work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Do you
Yeah.
want me to talk about what I have on tonight?
Yeah, I'm a little curious what you have on because, like, you got a hat on and it's not very sunny. I mean, we've got the lights and stuff,
I
but
know. So,
you know,
right now,
it's like 9:30 at night too.
yeah, my mood that I'm in is just like a chilling mood. And
You're very chill tonight.
I am.
Yeah.
And I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why this topic is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to come to you all a little bit different. But I got my cutoff on because sometimes you just have to be in the moment. And even though I knew I probably should have put on a full shirt, I had the cutoff on. And I was like, I'm just going to rock with what I got on. And then to just top it off, we inside. It's at night. We got these lights shining on us. So I grabbed my hat to kind of give me a little cover. So that's why I got my cutoff on and my hat. Just kind of being in the moment, just the way that I feel in my mood right now. So
I like it.
yeah.
And I think it's okay to have those types of moods and those types of days. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're always pretty motivating, but you know what? We real too. So
yeah. Real.
we real.
We real.
Okay, so tonight we are talking about embracing the moment or embracing your moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, do you want to share a story or do you want me to start off with our tips for that and you can share stories in between?
Well, I definitely want to tell them that we're doing something different tonight.
Okay.
Usually we're motivating, kind of inspirational, and tonight we're going to change that to a little bit more encouraging.
Oh, okay.
And one of the reasons why, as I told y'all, my mood. In life, we all go through things and we all face challenges and adversities. And then even on the success side, like we have accomplishments and we're constantly going, going, and going. And that's usually the message that we get from societies, like keep pushing, keep going.
Mhm.
And sometimes we forget to kind of settle in and embrace the moment. And that's something that with some of the things that are going on in our lives
Yeah.
personally, we just kind of have been spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to resolve some things and how to move forward. And we're losing the focus of us and kind of embracing the moments that we're in and celebrating some of our accomplishments and being with each other in our current state, in our current moment. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why we chose this topic, and one of the reasons why I'm very excited about it, because I'm sure that there are other people out there that, you know, could be facing adversities or could be trying to accomplish things and are planning and setting goals. And they're so busy moving and they're missing, you know, the moment.
Yeah.
And we want to share some things with you about how to embrace your moment and why it's important. So
Yeah.
I think
Agree.
that we can go ahead and kind of start with the tips and just kind of go with this and see where it goes.
Okay,
Because like I said,
cool.
I'm more in an encouraging mood.
Yeah.
And not so much as the like doom tip story. So let's just see where it goes.
Let's see where this goes.
All right.
Okay, so the first one is lay off of your past every now and then. So what do you mean by this?
So it's so easy, and I know that I fall victim to this a lot, is to dwell on your past, and you get caught up into things that has happened and things that have gone on in your life and things that you've experienced, and you spend so much time thinking about those things and trying to figure out how to recover from those and how to bounce back from those, and you lose sight of the moments that you are in, and you lose sight of the experiences that you're currently facing because you're so busy on thinking about the past and the things that happen, and you're dwelling on it. And once it happens, you cannot go back and change it.
Hmm.
So it's okay to remember those things and to learn from those experiences and to have those experiences, kind of locked in to your mindset or your brain to help you with making future decisions, but don't dwell on them as they are in the past. So that's what I mean by that.
I got you. So, for me, this reminds me of, and if you guys listened to last week's episode, then you know about me. I already don't do this. Like, I don't dwell on the past hardly ever, just because I'm a very futuristic thinker. And we identified there's some good with that and there's some bad with that, but I just never dwell on the past. But I have an exception.
Yeah.
So I dwell in the past anytime, and it's been a while. So I will say, since I've had kids, like my athletic levels have gone down a little bit. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
stay athletic and in shape and high fitness levels when you have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. I mean, just being real. And so for me, though, just thinking back to the times that I was very athletic and very in shape and very fitness oriented, um, I'm a runner and I love to run. And I used to train for races all the time. And the times that have really, I've seen this in my life, are times I've gotten injuries. And that is like, nothing phases me. Like, hardly anything in life phases me except when I get injured. So I remember having knee surgery, and you could probably relate to
Hmm.
this too. But I remember having knee surgery and being like, I have to be out for 6 weeks. And that took its toll on me. And for somebody who doesn't ever dwell in the past, that is a difficult road to go down. And the fact that every day I couldn't even be in the moment because I'm like, when is this just going to heal already? When can I get back on the road and start running again? And so it hindered me in that way. And so I think that that would have been good advice for me then.
Yeah. And it's tough because our minds, they naturally take you back to past experiences. And that's, something that you have to remember. And you have to make a conscious effort to change your mindset so that you don't dwell on it and get stuck there. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that, don't remember anything and
Yeah.
don't go back to your past. Just dwelling on it and going back and sitting in it and marinating in it sometimes can, hinder you.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about embracing your current moments or embracing where you are, it's tough when you're sitting there dwelling and marinating in the past
Yeah.
because the experience of what you're in,
Hmm.
you can't really get the fullness of it.
Right. Agree. And another time that this hinders not just us, and we've noticed it hinders us, but it hinders a lot of other people,
Definitely.
is when we've had this conversation before, but when, like, say we get in a fight, because believe it or not, we do get in fights. If we get in a fight and one of us brings up something like, you did this, 3 months
Guilty.
ago. And me too. I've definitely done this to him. And so I think we're both guilty of this, but I think that a lot of other people are too. And I think it's easy when you are talking about relationships in general, whether that is a romantic relationship or a familial relationship or even at work. I could be totally guilty of being like, well, Latricia did this, 2 years ago, and I'm still mad at her about that. So I'm not going to collaborate with her on that project.
Who is Latricia?
She's the fictional character in my mind that is my friend at work sometimes.
Okay. Latricia.
I don't know. I just made it up.
Okay. All right. I mean, Latricia.
Latricia. Oh.
All right.
Hey.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyways, what I want to follow up with that on is also while we're telling you to lay off your past every now and then, don't let other people drag you back into your past.
Oh.
That just came to my mind. And
Yeah.
when you're talking about embracing your moment,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can be in a place and in a space to where you're trying to embrace your moment. And we're talking about not, dwelling on your past. And
Yeah.
somebody will come back and say
Mm-hmm.
something and try to drag you right back into it.
Yep.
So, just being aware of that and not letting people drag you back into your past. So we're telling you to lay off your past sometimes. And sometimes that means communicating with other people. Back up off me. I ain't going there.
Yeah. And that can come with different strategies, right?
Definitely.
Like maybe you're communicating with that person, like, look, I don't want to talk about this, lay off, back off, and they can do that.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, and sometimes this happens, like I've seen friends who maybe something happened with their friendship in the past and they just can't let it go and it keeps coming back up.
Yeah.
Sometimes then you just have to disconnect from that person altogether.
Yes.
And that's just the best way. And I hate saying, like, you hate losing relationships, but sometimes it's just the best method so that you're not getting dragged back into your past.
Yeah. Don't get dragged.
Dragged. Thank you.
Yeah.
Drug.
It's
Grammar.
all good. Latricia.
Latricia.
Dragging you.
Hey, don't let her drag you in your past. No. So yes, I agree. I think that is a really good point.
I definitely want to share that. It came to my mind like immediately because we were talking about, you know, not each other, but like, you know, dragging or dwell. Now you got me talking about dragging, about dwelling in your past, but don't let other people drag you back into it. So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's very important. So that's the first one. That's what I mean by lay off your past every now and then. Not to forget it. Not to be like, oh no, I'm not living in my past. Like, you had those experiences. They helped you grow. They helped you become who you are.
Right.
Of course, you're going to remember them for when you're making future decisions, but don't dwell in them. And don't let them
move on.
Yeah, move on. Don't let them prohibit you from embracing the current situations, current moments.
Right. I will say that's easier said than done. But,
oh, yes.
Moving on is super important.
I agree. So
and definitely, I mean, in self-growth and in relationships.
Yeah, definitely in relationships. Really in relationships.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, we've had our share of that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And especially, you know, in the beginning and, you know, there's things we'd fight about and it's like you can't let it go until you learn how to communicate. And we finally learned how to communicate.
Let me tell y'all something.
Okay, go ahead.
We learned how to communicate, but there are still some things that I still haven't let go. And I drag her back into it every now and then just to remind her, like, you better remember this. Because I feel a certain type of way about it.
You're
so there are still things. And like I said, when you mentioned it earlier, I was like, guilty. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. And I think we both do it.
Yeah.
So probably you more than me.
Oh, absolutely. No shame in my game.
I let shit go.
Dragging April.
He likes to do that.
All right.
Not often, because that's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy.
No.
And when I do it, no.
It's usually joking.
It is joking. I was going to say tastefully, but it's not tastefully. But it is
but
joking.
It's usually joking.
Most of the times it's joking.
There's always a little truth behind a joke.
Yeah.
So the second one you have to really embrace your moments is to listen to your own voice.
Yeah, I think we kind of elaborated on that and talked about that a little bit in the previous one when you're talking about other people and their involvement. So by listening to your own voice, like we know what's going on in the moments, but sometimes that outside noise distracts us from embracing it. So when there's something going on, and for instance, I'll give our business, a business example for us. So when we were starting the business and we came out of the gate fired and we were moving and we were full steam ahead and like we couldn't even embrace the moment of where we were in the business and how we were seeing success because there was so much outside noise that was interfering with us, and we started spending so much time listening to that outside noise that I still feel like we missed the moment of like, dang, like we really did this. We out here in these streets like making noise and people are listening to us and we're helping people and we're inspiring people and we have this thing moving the way that we want it to move. And I feel like we missed opportunities to fully embrace that and to kind of like celebrate those moments together and to be in that moment and to be in that space and in that time with each other. We were like, oh my gosh, did you hear that? Did you see what so-and-so said? Oh my gosh. Like,
well, and can I be real?
Be real. Come on.
That still affects us to this day.
Yeah.
And there was a really good, I think it's off, I don't even have my phone. It's off of my Instagram now because it was in my stories and those last for 24 hours and it's gone. But there was a quote by somebody. I'm trying to remember exactly what it said, but it was like, don't let, oh gosh, I'm going to screw it up. So I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm just going to tell you my example. So I think this is so important because what you said was that people, or listening to the outside noise, which to me translates to outside people,
Right.
pretty directly, because that's a majority of the noise that we heard and that we saw.
Yeah.
It affected us then, but it continues to affect us to this day. In that there are times Darryl's like, babe, I just need you to acknowledge how far we've come and how many people we're having an impact on. I just need you to do that for me because it affects our mindset. And we're very big on mindset and on practicing positive mindset. And for me, it's hard because I let people interfere in my noise, in my head, and that still has reverberation. So even though I kind of got past that, there's still this recurring theme of like, well, maybe we're not having as big of an impact as we actually are having, and that we've seen that we're having. And so he tells me often, like, I just need you to change your mindset, and I need you to jump on board the ship with me because we're going and we're on a fast train, getting to where we want to be, but I need you to come alongside me so I'm not constantly dragging you back up with me. And I think that's important.
And it's human nature, like when you do something well or you have a moment, and in that moment, like, it's human nature. In your mind, you immediately celebrate yourself. You're like, dang, I killed that. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, dang, but we just smashed that. Like, this was just awesome. And it just take that one person to throw you off to be like, well, I saw so-and-so and they did it a little bit differently. I feel like they had a better impact, or I feel like they had more people there.
Or even like we've had people say like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we just had this moment. Can we just like be in this moment?
Can we just celebrate our moment?
Yeah. And that's when I say, listen to your own voice.
Yeah.
Like that's because your human nature, your voice is to celebrate yourself. And that's the very first thing that you do until somebody else comes in with some outside noise and they distract you and you give them the power over your ears. And then you're listening to them and you lose that moment. You can't get that back.
Yeah.
And you lose it. And you need to embrace it. And the way to do it is to stay in that moment by listening to your voice. And it's hard to do.
It's hard to do. We are bombarded every day with like social media. I think about Instagram.
Yeah.
I love Instagram. I love the gram. Okay. Love the gram. But there are so many ways that you can play the comparison game, and you can compare yourself, and if you compare yourself to anybody, you compare yourself to anyone, you are always going to fall short. You're going to find yourself falling short. Yep. And it doesn't mean that you're actually falling short. It's your mindset and your mentality.
I agree.
And so I think that outside noise is super important.
And going back to the relationship piece, I try my best to, keep April in check. And I'm just like, hey, check this out. Listen to your own voice. Like, you did a great job. Why are you second guessing yourself? Why are you downgrading what you did? Because when you're talking to me, you're like, oh man, I feel so good about this. Like, one of the things that we're working on putting out, and you're like, oh man, I feel so good about that. And, we put it out and then somebody says something, or not as many people download it. And then you're just like,
I let one thing derail me.
Oh, well, I don't know. And I'm like,
it's because I'm a Cancer.
I'm like, that what?
It's because I'm Cancer.
What's that?
That, like, the astrological sign.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Cancer in our business. I was gonna be like, well, we gotta go chemo you.
No, I'm like, that's my
what?
Like, that's my sign.
Okay.
I'm a Cancer.
All right, I get it. I ain't big on that zoology type stuff. So anyways, like I was saying, listen to your own voice. It's human nature to, appreciate yourself and to talk good to yourself and to be good to yourself. And then it doesn't take much for somebody else to come in and be that outside noise that distracts you from listening to yourself and making you not embrace the moment, making you lose that moment. So that was the big thing that I wanted to share with that. And that's something that I still struggle with. You still struggle with.
Yeah.
I do my best trying to keep you in check with it.
Yeah.
You hold me accountable sometimes, even with feedback that I get specifically about the website that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody can be like, oh, and I'm like, well, just because one person didn't relate to it, let me see if I can try to flip this whole thing.
Right.
And then you're like, no, babe, like that looks good. You're never going to have it perfect. If you can improve it, go for it, but don't try to change it because of that.
Right.
Even though, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this was killer. Like, I worked hard on it. This is the bomb. So
yeah, we
both
try to keep
struggle
each
with
other
it.
in balance.
Yeah.
But I would say you have to keep me more on track than I do you.
Oh, yeah.
And that is because, I say Cancer. I'm not huge on astrological signs, but I do, like, everything that Cancers are, I relate to, like, very emotional. We're empaths. And so I intake other people's energy. And I can feel like if somebody says something, anything, even remotely, slightly negative about something that we're doing or something that we're putting out there, I take it all in. And sometimes I can get past it, and sometimes it'll completely rock my world. So
yeah, I'm good for most of the time, like with the outside noise.
Yeah, you're pretty good at blocking.
Yeah, every now and then
you keep me on
something
track.
may get to me, but most of the time it's you. And I'm like, babe, like we out here killing the game right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh well,
right.
So
I'm also
XYZ.
I'm also a pretty humble person, and that can sometimes translate into not.
Yeah, I'm humble too, but the truth is the truth. I ain't mean to cut you off, baby, but the truth is the truth.
No, I agree.
We went from 0 to thousands.
Real. Yeah.
We went from impacting, I'm not going to say zeros, but like tens to hundreds to now like thousands.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal for me too.
And if you think about it, for two people who were really self-conscious and really let the outside noise get to us and really held us back from following our calling and what we were put here to do.
Yeah, it did deter us for probably a while.
To now impacting thousands.
Yeah.
Hey, we killing the game, baby. So we listening to our own voices right now. If you're not listening to your own voice, April, I'm talking to you right now, baby.
I know.
Listen to my voice. We killing the game right now.
And actually, I think that's a really good tip is to get a cheerleader.
Yeah, and what? Oh, now you calling me a cheerleader?
Well, you're my cheerleader.
Oh, didn't I say I was going to get me a shirt made that says shaking pom-poms on them haters?
You did say that.
Oh, I got to get my t-shirt.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. On the haters episode.
On the haters episode.
Shaking pom-poms on them haters.
That was like episode 8. That was like 30 episodes ago.
It's all good, but my cheerleading... Anyways, I told y'all I'm in a different mood tonight. So
my cheerleader, accountability partner, and I think it's super important to find one of those if you don't have one.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So come back to embracing the moment.
Okay, we'll come back and we'll embrace this moment right here so that we can embrace the moment.
This is good though. Yeah. This is good at least for me. You. Yeah. I hope everybody else like it, but for me and you, this is good.
No, this is really good.
I'm embracing this moment with you having this conversation.
I know.
I'm
enjoying it.
My spirit has been lifted a little bit.
Good. Yeah. That's always my aim. Okay, so your third tip is to be in tune with yourself.
Yeah, so that's being aware and connected to your emotion and your senses. That's probably one of the toughest things to do when you're in a moment because your emotions, whatever positive or not positive, are going to be running wild. And being able to accept those emotions, being in tune with those emotions and knowing how to let them kind of settle in. You know, I say, let this sizzle in your spirit. Like they kind of to let them kind of settle in. Gosh, I got that out. And to be in the moment and to not let them push you or pull you away from the moment. Yeah. So that's being in tune with yourself. That's what I meant by that when I said be in tune with yourself. Yeah. And that's tough because emotions are hard to acknowledge for some people, including me. And it's hard because I am an empath and I feel my emotions, but I don't like to display them. Yeah. And I don't like for people to know that I have them. Yeah. And it's only been recent, honestly, since we've been in a relationship, has been the
most that I've showcased emotions and learned to come to terms with them and learn to deal with them. And you must have some like emotional intelligence voodoo magic happening on me that I can like actually showcase them. But it's always been hard for me to do for whatever reason. And so I think that's important. I think this tip is really important, is to understand your emotions. And we know now it's important. Well, I know you've always known this, but I've known now it's important. And so as we parent together, we try to help. Well, Vaughn is a lost cause right now because
Good
he's one
Lord.
and just crazy wild child.
Woo.
But with Anna, we try to help her understand and name her emotions.
Yeah.
We try to help her understand them. We try to tell her, like, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. There are appropriate reactions and there are inappropriate reactions to how you might
Yeah.
feel. So, that's kind of where the, not discipline, just the parenting part comes in and helping her manage those. But I think it's important to be in tune with yourself and your emotions and what is your mindset. Honestly, like negativity, going back to the Graham example, I literally just posted in my Instagram stories, which you guys won't see this because it'll air a week later. But I literally just posted a quote from somebody who said, anytime I get a negative thought, I think like, girl, we don't have time for this. And I love that quote. I love it because it can happen. Like, you get that negative thought, and if you just think like, I don't have time for this and I'm so much better than that negative thought in my head, then you can start to move past it.
That's what you tell Lucretia.
Latricia.
You done
What's
forgot
her
her
name?
name.
Yeah, I
Nancy.
know.
Nancy.
I'm the worst imaginary friend
Why
ever.
can't it be Nancy?
I don't know. That just
Latricia.
wasn't her name.
Lucretia. Yeah. Anyways,
Anyway.
I guess I can give an example, and this is a very like sensitive subject area for me, is being in tune with yourself. So growing up, I missed, I guess, the boat on being in tune with yourself, and how you said like, I know a lot about emotional intelligence. I know a lot about emotions, and that's kind of a lot about who I am. A lot of things that I missed experiences on growing up that I felt like were shortcomings for me growing up is kind of where I excelled and really
You almost
educated
like
myself and
overcompensated.
overcompensated for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so growing up, being aware of my emotions and being in tune with myself wasn't something that I really focused on, because most of my focus was on making sure that I was pleasing my parents. I'm gonna just be real with y'all and
Right.
put it out there straight like that. My parents, and more specifically my dad, and because of his role, and he was a pastor, and all the things that come with that, and just who he is and the way that he is, like I never could be in tune with myself, because I was always trying to make sure that I was in tune with him, to make sure that I was living up to his expectations. And when you're talking about being aware of your emotions, I never showed my emotions, because if they were bad emotions, or not bad emotions, no emotions are bad, but if they were emotions that were, like sad or down, straighten up, boy. Like, I'm just like, oh God, okay, I can't be upset, can't be disappointed, can't frown. And then if
Right.
it was too much, like, calm down. And like, oh my gosh, I can't be too amped up. Then it became a point to where I was just like, all right, what is he doing? What kind of mood is he in? What do I need to do to make sure that he's okay with how I'm behaving or how I'm acting? And that was most of my life. And that was for a lot of time. So me being in tune with myself, me being aware of my emotions, I really didn't practice that or have much opportunity, I feel like, growing up, to engage in that. So like you said, overcompensating. As I got older and as I grew, that was something I really studied. I really started to practice. I really spent time meditating with myself, trying to figure out, all right, D, like, you got all this bottled up stuff. How do you manage it? How do you handle it? How do you express it? And that's how I learned it over time. And by doing that, my awareness and my sense for other people elevated as well, because I was practicing, studying, and learning for myself how to express myself. Why am I feeling this way? Where these emotions are coming from? How to use them to benefit me? And by doing that, I was like, oh, dang, the same thing I'm studying about myself, I see that right there. I see that over here. And it became second nature, to where I didn't even have to think about it. And then I could read a room in with all of like 2 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and can tell you what's going on in that space. And then I know how to carry myself in that space, but I also can pretty much predict or see what other people have going on in the space as well. And I think for me, that was a part of my experience. That was a part of what I needed to go through to fulfill my calling. And that's why I do what I do now. And that's why I feel like I'm good at it. And I feel like that's how God uses me. He's like, I didn't take you through that for no reason.
Right. Because now you can empathize with somebody who feels like they can't show their emotions,
Right.
especially men, especially
Yep.
young black men. And
Definitely.
I think we have I think we have a great opportunity to talk about, maybe in an upcoming episode, toxic masculinity.
Yeah, we can definitely get that
Yeah.
popping.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was very personal for me, and that was emotional for me, and I don't know. I probably was looking down the whole time because I don't really like to
Yeah.
like talk about it because it just kind of
It's okay. Get it out, baby.
brings up some things. But I don't
We all love
dwell
you.
in it
You
though.
don't dwell in it.
I don't dwell in it,
And
but
it's
I do
okay to feel
remember it.
things.
Yeah,
And it's even okay to feel things from your past.
definitely.
It's just the moving past it. So it's not getting stuck in your moment that
Yeah.
you need to be embracing.
So to help me embrace the moments, making sure now that I understand and I'm aware of my emotions and I'm in tune with myself so that I can know what's going on, know how I'm feeling, and I can be like, I got this in this moment right now. Even though I'm feeling this type of way, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be right here in this space. And then when this time is up, whatever's going on, I can address it and deal with it.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Good.
yep.
Let's go to the last tip, which is to be in
the moment.
the moment. If you want to embrace your moment,
Gotta be in it.
you gotta be in it.
Be in it. Everybody talk about being in the moment, but nobody really ever practice being in the moment. How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, so this one, if we talk about moments that, let's talk about two things.
Okay, let's talk.
Let's talk about moments that we've truly embraced, that we were in the moment, that you felt like there was nothing else coming into your brain. There was no outside noise. There was no, it was just you in that moment. It was a beautiful moment. What would that moment be for you if you had to define that moment?
Vacation when we were in Cocoa Beach.
Okay.
Like I was in the moment during that entire time because I was with my family. My mindset was to spend time with my family and to embrace that moment because that was the first trip that we taken with the whole family since Vaughn.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I captured and embraced that entire moment so
Yeah.
that I could have something.
And that was his first time seeing the beach.
Yeah.
And which was fun. He loved it.
Yeah. So that was the time that I was 100% in the moment. And we tried to talk, and it was funny because, our business and what we do, it doesn't really ever stop, which is perfectly fine by me because when you love what you're doing, it's not really work. And I love what we're doing, even though sometimes it can be taxing. I know that that reward for me is, a big deal. And for me, it matters.
Yeah.
But like on that trip, being in the moment with my family, business, it was like, all right, cool. What's going on? All right. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't spend much time doing it. We had fun. We made videos. We took pictures. We walked in the sand. We got in the
We
pool.
did have fun.
We drank, juice.
And child juice.
Who drunk child? Oh, well, they drunk.
They drunk.
They drunk child juice, but we drunk adult juice.
Adult juice.
Yeah. So that is definitely a time where I was 100% in the moment. I enjoyed every second of it, and I had no worries. My family was there. Everything that I needed was there with me, and it was easy for me to be in the moment. And that's hard to do sometimes because life keeps you busy.
Yeah.
The hustle and bustle. And that's something that, I hear a lot. And I'm not going to knock people who say hustle all day, every day. Like, I'm like, sometimes you might want to check yourself and embrace the moments and celebrate them and slow down and pump your brakes. But then there's some times where we motivate people and we're like, hey,
Yeah.
you got to put in the work, but you also got to embrace moments too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So let me be real about mine.
talk to me.
So you were just talking about this, and we work really, really hard all the time, a lot of the times. And like you said, we both feel like it's both of our callings. There's a reason that we were brought together in the first place. There's a reason that we are together. There's a reason we had the idea to start the business. Like, we believe this is fulfilling our calling. But like you said, it can be work, and it is. That's just the reality. Is there are things that go into it that we have to maintain and we have to keep up with, and so because that work travels with us, I don't approach it the same way you do.
Okay.
So, like, I really enjoyed our vacation, but for me, that was not. I think there were small moments, and I think I can break it down into more like I have many micro moments
Okay.
of being just embracing the moment. So if I
Tell
wish
me
I could
about
say
it.
that there was like a whole week long vacation that I took that I just was completely in the moment for the whole time, but it's just not true for me. So for me, it's micro moments. So like I can remember, watching you. So on that vacation specifically, I remember watching you walk with Vaughn down to the water for his first time to the beach. And for me, that was the moment I was fully engulfed in. I was embracing that moment. Nothing else, no outside noise was in my mind. Another time was when we went to the Dominican Republic to get married.
Mm.
And there are a lot of those moments I can pinpoint then, but it wasn't the whole time because we had family there and we were trying to do the wedding at a resort that was not even in our country, so not in a location that was easy for us to access to plan.
Right.
So we were stressed a lot of times, but I remember being in the moment, walking up the aisle to you and just focused on you. And I was embracing that moment. Like, my mom and dad walked me up the aisle, and that was just like, I will never forget that. That's like a snapshot in my memory. So I have moments like that,
I
but they're
No,
micro for
micro
me.
moments. I get it.
Yeah.
So I guess there are levels
Okay.
to my moments, and since you broke it down to micro, like there are levels.
Okay.
So and I'll explain it this way. In the vacation, like I was 100% in the moment, and there were a couple of times where like business stuff came up,
Yeah.
and I know that sometimes I frustrated you because you'd be asking me a question, and like because I was in the moment, I give you some bogus answer,
I'm like,
and you're like,
what?
"What are you talking about?" And
Like, I
now,
need a real answer
and
here.
I'm just like, whatever, like screw that right now. I'm in this
Like,
moment.
yes,
And
but
so
stuff still has to go.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly what you said. But
Yeah.
that's why I say the levels to the moment.
Yeah.
So even though I was in it when you asked
Yeah.
me that business question, like my engagement or being in that moment or embracing that moment could have went to like a 90%. And then 10% of that was listening to what you said, and I just gave you a bogus answer so I could get back to my 100% of embracing. So that's kind of how it
It
moves.
fluctuates.
But me being in that moment and embracing that moment was always at a high percentage.
Okay.
Always at a high percentage, and everything else came in very, very low and was very unimportant to me. Because I know some of the stuff was important to you, and you were trying to ask me, and I'm like, man, get out of my face.
Yeah. True story. That's real. Um, so I know we're starting to run short on time, but I really want to ask you
Uh-oh.
the vice versa, the opposite, the
Uh-huh.
antithesis of this. So when do you feel like there are times that you are not fully embracing the moment and you look back later and you kind of regret it?
I think that I guess I'll tell you the first thing that popped into my mind, and it hurts me to say this, and I'm like gonna be sad about saying this, but it has to do with the kids. I think that there are times that I would love to embrace the moments with them, but because of time, because of situations, circumstances, locations,
Mm-hmm.
I miss out on doing that because I want to keep their schedule, or I don't want
Right.
somebody to feel a certain type of way, or I don't want there to be any obligations on anybody else, or
Right.
something like that. So there are many instances that if I look back and think about, I'm like, dang, I can't believe that Anna like did this.
Yeah.
And when she was doing this, I was so worried about making sure everybody else around us was okay with her doing this, as opposed to being out there with her
Yeah.
and embracing this moment and letting my little girl be great,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So, and I regret those sometimes.
Yeah.
And specifically, if she's out and about and some music is on and she
Mm.
starts to dance because she
Girlfriend loves to
loves to
dance.
dance,
Yeah.
I'm worried about like, oh no, come here, baby. No, we can't do that right here. Stop dancing. Hey, we're out here in the store. Like somebody's
Yeah.
gonna bump you or something. And then when I think about it, I'm like, my little girl had a moment like she wanted to be great out here in this public.
Yeah.
And the music was on and the environment was right and she wanted to dance. Go dance, baby. And I should have went out there and been with her.
Yeah.
And because I was so worried about everybody else around us and making sure that we were out of the way and nobody
Yeah.
was offended, or people were thinking that, oh, they have no control over their kids, I'm out here pulling her back from being great.
Right.
And when I think back to this particular moment that I'm talking about now, like I should have just went out there and just should have supported her and danced with her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hate saying that because I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
And it's the truth, but
I mean, I hope I make you feel better right now, but that was literally like before we even started, when I saw your notes on this episode, that was the first thing I thought about. And so I want to say this probably transcends to a lot of parents, is that it can be, I remember holding Anna, who's our firstborn, and just being so in the moment with her when she was an infant. And then life happens. And not only, and these are not, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying, like, we work full-time jobs. We also have basically a full-time business as well that we own. We also are on, like, you're on boards for things in the community. We have other obligations. And so as parents, I think that this is the number one thing, because for me too, it's some of those bigger things that you're talking about. And again, going back to, for me, it's the micro moments. It's like literally I could come out from putting them to bed and I could replay the evening in my head. Like we talked about, don't go back and dwell on your past, but I could replay the evening in my head and be like, I should have been more present at this point. Like they were dancing to Beyonce, which is what they do. And I was busy. I didn't want to make sure the dinner burned, right? So I'm like in here making dinner. And this just happened the other night. And Darryl's like, come watch him dance. This is so cute. And I'm like, hang on. Because I didn't want to burn dinner. And then I come out and the moment is over.
it's over.
And that's an example I think anybody can relate to. But I think that this happens sometimes in many other ways. And one of the things that we try to be really intentional about is coming in the door, not engaging with like technology or anything, and just trying to be in the moment, because once we pick them up from school,
they go by fast.
Man, we only get like 2 hours with them,
Yep.
2.5 hours.
Yep.
And I feel bad sometimes. I feel like parents can relate to this too, but there's times I'm like, I am exhausted. Like we might have been up at 5 that morning.
Yep.
Working on our business, and then we work all day long.
Yep.
And then God bless if I get a workout in that day. But then I'm even more tired. And so I get them and I'm like, okay, it's great to be with them, but I'm tired. Oh, show those
You
muscles.
said workout and I was looking at my cutoff. Sorry. Anybody on YouTube, y'all caught that. Anybody listening, you missed that. Go to YouTube and see what just happened.
Yeah.
But I caught them.
Yeah.
Look at that horseshoe.
Anyway, so it looks beautiful.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. You as a fine man.
Am I turning you on?
You are.
All right, come on. So, all right. So tonight we talked about.
So anyway.
Come on, let's give a recap, baby. I'm about to
Okay.
embrace this moment, y'all.
Wait, I wasn't even done with my story.
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying that I think it's normal for parents to pick up their kids, have
Yes.
had a long day,
Yes.
and to not embrace the moment, and even more so to look forward to when the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. Like, that's the real that I'm giving you guys.
Yeah, that is true.
And so often I do that, and then I'm holding Vaughn as he goes to sleep, and I'm like, damn, I should have been in the moment more tonight.
Yeah.
Every night, almost every night,
Yeah.
and whether or not I think that, like, oh, I'm really tired and I just want them to go to bed so I can go to bed, or so we can get this thing done that we have to do for the business and we can go to bed. Or if I'm in the moment with them and try to be, I still feel like they're growing up so fast.
Definitely.
I feel like that's a very transcending example.
Yeah.
For many people. But yeah, let's go ahead and recap.
Yeah, because I'm in the moment right now.
Because Darryl's in a moment from showing off his horseshoe. So let's go ahead and recap the episode.
Right.
Okay, so tonight we talked about just embracing your moments, and to do that, to remember to lay off of your past every now and then, and don't dwell on your past. Don't let it come up and get you. Don't let other people pull you back into your past. That's super important, because I think that probably happens more often than a lot of us even consciously know it does and think it does. The second tip was to listen to your own voice and to kind of cancel out the noise. And we talked about in starting our business how listening to others' input into our business really held us back. Like, there's days that sometimes I feel like we could be further along than we are.
I agree.
And maybe, I mean, also at the same time, I feel like we're exactly where we're supposed to be in the time that we're supposed to be, right? Because I believe that. But there are times I'm like, dang, like, we listen too much to other people. So anyway, so listen to your own voice. Be in tune with yourself. So really connecting with your emotions, understanding what those are doing to you in the moment. And I think that will help you process that moment and really embrace it. And then just literally being in the moment, like, put away your technology. If it's something important, if you need to be with your significant other, for an hour, like, be with that person, just be with them. If you need to be with, I can't even with you. If you need to be with your kids from the time you pick them up from school and you put them to bed, put the technology away, right? Like, that's, I think, one of the number one things that we see and we've experienced, is that technology is such a distraction from the moment. But then also, don't be wishing the moments away, because they're going to go whether you wish them away or not. So you may as well be in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, just embrace the moment, and if it's positive, embrace it, celebrate it. And if it's not so positive, embrace it and learn from it.
Yeah.
But the most important part is be in the moment sometimes. Don't always be go, 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 and, miss moments.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Good.
I think that's it.
That's it for tonight.
Yep.
Well, I hope we were encouraging.
Yep. We took a different approach, and
Yeah.
we were all over the place, but
yeah,
somebody will take something away from this and appreciate
absolutely. This. Yeah.
And
so we are speaking to you right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So y'all go and have blessed weeks, and look for us on social media, because we are about to blow it up. With our new website and our new services, and we are very excited. So keep an eye out for this.
That's right.
Yep.
So connect with us. Send us message. Reach out to us.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We like connecting with y'all. We like building those relationships.
We do.
All right. Until the next time.
We out.
Peace.